All right, we made it a year. Every Friday, we're posting the Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Lumnah Acres and Ben from Hollar Homestead and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And this is episode 52. We made it, guys.
We made
Exciting.
it. Woohoo! It's awesome. I guess I never thought about it before. Like when we first started, did you think how long we'd go? I guess I never really.
No, it was I think it was just kind of one of those things where we're going to try it and see how it goes.
Yep. Now it's like our therapy
Truth be told, like I thought we weren't going to make it like a month. I was like, nah, we all got too much going on. It's not going to work. And then after a while, it was like, you know what? Like, I think we're in it for the long haul. Like, we're all doing this homesteading thing. It's not easy. This is just one more thing. Like, bring it.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, I don't know if we're gonna have time for this. I don't know if you guys had time for it. I didn't know. I didn't think I would have time. But yeah, I mean, we somehow made time for it all.
Yep. Just one more thing to squeeze in, right?
Yeah, I think it is important to not put pressure on ourselves to like, we got to have a topic, we got to have somebody else interviewing and all this stuff. And I think that's probably important. The reason why, maybe, plus we like doing it.
Right.
So yeah, thank you. If you guys have been here a year listening, we appreciate it very much. Thank you. And today's going to be talking about our week. I don't know about you guys, but I was sweating to the oldies this weekend, meaning it was hot.
I woke up Sunday morning and it was 38 degrees outside.
That's crazy.
Yeah, what the heck?
It was chilly.
And then what was it during the day?
And then it warmed up to 72. That was on Sunday. So we record on Monday. So today, Monday, it was like 80 for a high today. And then Tuesday, we're going to be getting into the 90s. So it's kind of a huge swing.
Man, that's almost frost.
Is that normal weather for you, like getting up into the 90s?
Yes, for a few weeks to a month in the summer. But we don't have it very long. But we'll get down to the 60s at night. So it'll cool off. So usually what I do first thing in the morning, because I get up at like 4 in the morning, I'll get up and I'll open up. We got a garage door in our living room. I'll open up the garage door, open up all the windows, get the fan going, get the cold air in, and then close it up before the sun comes out.
That's exactly what I do. I'm usually up at 5 a.m. and I'll come out here in the living room, kitchen area. I'll open up all the doors and windows. And right now it's getting down to about 65 at night. So, I mean, that's not bad at all. And so I'll just get everything all opened up and get all that cold air. Yeah, it's nice. I think what's crazy is living in a place where it gets down to 65 in June. I'm used to by June, it cools down to 90.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys usually cool down at night, like in July and August? Or does it usually stay warm overnight?
Usually, like by July and August, it cools down to like 70 something, 75. And that's when you're 95 during the day, and then it'll cool down to 70s at night. But it could be worse.
Yeah, usually people escape the humidity by coming up this way.
Oh, that's funny.
Because it's less humidity than, say, more towards the coast, I guess, or the middle of North Carolina.
How far are you guys away from the coast, mileage-wise?
I think it's 4-hour drive.
So you guys are probably further away from the coast than I am in New Hampshire, I bet you.
I think, it depends. It's like a 3 or 4 hour drive to the coast from here, but if you want to go to the Outer Banks, that adds a whole bunch of time.
It might be 6 hours.
Yeah, it's like 6 some odd hours. It's a long time. I would look it up, but my phone's not cooperating. So
if you just went straight across, let's see.
Yeah, we're about 300 miles.
It's not too bad. We try to go make that trip once a year.
You guys got one planned for this summer?
We usually go once a year towards the end of the summer to the beach.
Nice.
That's something all the kids keep talking about, wanting to go to the beach. Meg keeps talking about wanting to go to the beach. And I'm not sure, I don't know why. It's like since we've got here, I have not felt the need for a vacation. But, we've been here 5 years now, and it's kind of like we haven't really taken a vacation. Anytime we've left, it's been for an event like Homesteads of America or, Baker Creek Seed Festival, stuff like that. And we haven't taken like a leisure trip. I saw like a meme today, and it said, if you could go anywhere in the world where would you go and why? And so I asked Meg, I was like, well, where would you go? And she said the same thing. I've thought about, if I could go anywhere on vacation, it would be Glacier National Park up in Montana. Oh man, that is the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
Haven't been up that way. I've done Yosemite. That's nice.
Man, somehow we missed Yosemite.
That was really nice.
So we're only 100 miles away from the coast. So we're probably more humid than you guys are, which seems kind of crazy.
I think we had 50% humidity today, and it was just about 90. It was pretty hot.
Yep.
Yeah, we need it to rain, I think. It needs to rain.
Yeah, it's been real dry.
Yeah, we've been dry. I'm not complaining because the last 2 years we've been so wet. We could use a dry out, I feel like. I mean, it's pretty dusty, but I've been enjoying it.
That's been all or nothing for you guys. You either get all the rain or nothing.
Yep.
That's
usually it seems like.
Usually here in June, every year we've been here, June is kind of dry. We get about a month of, somewhat dry weather. You might get 1 or 2 rains, but it's not enough to make a difference. And then July hits. They call it the dog days of summer. Every year we've been here, by like the 2nd or 3rd of July, it starts these crazy thunderstorms that like they'll roll through every day, like every single day in the afternoon. Just when you think it can't get any more humid and miserable, clouds will just appear out of nowhere. You'll get this massive thunderstorm, and then it'll be 75 degrees the rest of the night. It's just, I love it. I've never enjoyed July more than I have since we moved out here.
And it always happens on 4th of July, it seems like, don't it?
Yeah, I would say we've been rained out more than we've actually been able to enjoy.
So it's almost like I gotta hurry up and fire the fireworks before it rains.
That's funny. I want to know how Ben's squash plants are doing. Has it been helping the squash beetles and stuff you started using?
All right. I mean, I guess I could go first because that was the first on my list. So I was sitting down writing a list of like, man, what the heck did I work on? And Meg reminded me, we actually recorded the podcast last week on a Wednesday. So we're only going from, Thursday till Monday. So not a whole week worth of stuff, but I wrote down a few things. So doing an update on the dead bugs. So I found some stuff listeners emailed us. They heeded my woes about the squash bugs, and they told me about some stuff called Captain Jack's dead bugs. It's spinoside. It's a bacteria. I've now switched over to biological warfare against these bugs, and it is working. Like, it is working great. I went out and I sprayed that stuff I think it was Sunday. I think that was when I sprayed. And it says don't spray more than once a week. And then like no more than 5 times in a season, which that's kind of a specific.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So went out there. There's still squash bugs, but I'm seeing dead squash bugs everywhere, which that is a glorious thing to see. Like, I am so tickled. They have already wiped out some of I think Meg planted a whole bed of acorn squash, and I don't think we will get a single acorn squash because those things found those and just decimated them. But there was one plant left that I was able to go in and spray all the squash bugs, and it's still kind of hanging on. I still don't think it'll make it, but there's no squash bugs on it now. So yeah, the tide is turning. I believe I am starting to win the battle. I mean, that can change. July hits, and if we get a lot of rain, that's when I start losing the battle, because I don't know what it is about when it's that super hot and humid rain. It's like they reproduce, 10 times faster. But if I can just stay up on it. Something I did also find is I used diatomaceous earth. I have a little battery-powered blower, and it's really not good for anything. I mean, you can kind of blow your table off in your workshop. You can't use it as a leaf blower. It's not that big, but it's good for decent little clean jobs. Well, I was trying to figure out how I could spray the diatomaceous earth rather than grabbing handfuls and throwing it. Well, I got that little blower, and I took the blower nozzle off and stuck it on the suction part, and then stuck that in a cup of diatomaceous earth, and it makes a cloud of this stuff. Like, do it on a kind of breezy day so you're out of the dust cloud, and that stuff will ruin your lungs. But I completely covered one of the squash plants that was afflicted. This is before I found the dead bug stuff. And those bugs do not like diatomaceous earth. Everywhere that was covered in DE, the bugs just leave it alone. Like maybe it makes them uncomfortable or something. It doesn't kill them. Like I took some and sprinkled it on a couple bugs, and they just kind of shake their fist as they crawl away. But yeah, so those are my two current weapons I've been using. Another thing too, I figured I'd talk about while we're talking about bugs. Al, do you guys have Japanese beetles up there?
We do.
Do they get real bad up there?
The last couple of summers, no, but they can for sure.
So the past couple of years, we actually last year there's some trees that my friend Billy gave us. He gave us a couple Evercrisp apple trees, and one of them was actually doing really good. It had fruit all over it. Second year it's been in the ground. It had maybe about a dozen apples on it. Well, for whatever reason, the Japanese beetles swarmed this tree, and I've never seen them completely defoliate a tree, but they did this one. Nearly killed this poor tree because they ate every single leaf on this tree. They ate the apples. Like, it was decimated. Well, because of that, we lost all the fruit on that tree. And it was just that tree. We have 3 of them, and it was just that tree. So maybe that tree's weak or something, or maybe it's got something wrong with it. But since then, we were like, we got to do something about these Japanese beetles. Well, towards the end of the season last year, Japanese beetles are only out for 8 weeks. It's, from, I don't know, the beginning of June, the end of May, until, the end of July into August. But during that 8 weeks, there are millions of these Japanese beetles. Well, Meg found some traps, and they're just a bait trap. They have this little stinky, it looks like an air freshener you'd put in your car. And it's just a bag, like a big hanging bag with a kind of funnel in the top. And I don't know what this stuff is, but Japanese beetles think it is the best thing in the world. So we put some out last year, and we caught a lot of Japanese beetles. Like, I was really surprised. Well, we had them ready to go this year. We ordered some extra. We got them early. I had them stashed. The first Japanese beetle I saw out, flying around, eating something, I went and set up like 3 or 4 of these traps. And it says don't put them any more than like 2 an acre or something like that. And it's like, I don't even care. I'll saturate it. I want to catch all these dang bugs. So I put these traps out, and there's one up by the greenhouse. There's one out by the orchard, and then there's one kind of in between to catch the rest of the garden. And I'm catching like pounds of bugs a day. You don't have to rebait the trap. It's fine in the rain. You just grab the bag, open the bottom, dump them into a bucket of water, and then I just feed them to my chickens. The chickens think they're popcorn. So every day when I'm feeding animals, I can go grab one of the traps or all 3 of them, depending on how full they are, and it's free chicken food. So yeah, if anybody's wondering, just get on Amazon, look for Japanese beetle traps. They're like a plastic bag that has some bait on it. They work amazing. Like, I'm so pleased with those things. I will always have those on hand to deal with those darn bugs.
My in-laws used to have a ton of apple trees, and they used to get a lot of the Japanese beetles, and that's what they would put out. And those things would fill up so fast. They work good. Like you said, there's really nothing in them. It's just a little bait that you put in, basically in a plastic bag. And I don't know why it works so good. I wish we could find something that worked that good for flies in the barn.
Yeah, no kidding. So other good news, speaking of orchard, we actually harvested all of our peaches this past weekend. We actually got peaches out of our own orchard. So I guess a little story time. So this spring, the thing I've noticed every spring is the peach trees, the nectarine trees, they like to flower first sign of warm weather, and then we always get late frosts here, at least the entire time we've been here. So this year I tried something different. I tried, if you know it's going to frost, you get up really stinking early before the sun's up, take a Hudson sprayer with just water, and mist that stuff up into the tree, coat all of the flowers, and they have to have ice surrounding the flowers before the sun comes up. And then for whatever reason, as long as they're frozen long before the sun comes up, when everything thaws out, they won't be fried from the freeze. So I tried that this year. I tried covering. I think I talked about it on the podcast. I tried covering. I tried misting. And then there was one peach tree that I left completely alone. Well, wouldn't you know it, that one peach tree was the only one that kept its fruit. The other trees did get fruit, like they did have fruit, but the coddling moth damage that we had on all of the other trees was so much that they all just dropped all their fruit. So I've got 2 trees that have fruit. This one actually had a whole bunch of decent fruit. I mean, a lot of it was pretty wormy, but it was ready. I've got one more tree and it's only got like 3 peaches on it, so I'm not counting that one. But yeah, so we went and we harvested. We probably got about a dozen peaches off this little tree, and we are ecstatic. We're so happy. It is so cool to eat peaches out of our orchard. I mean, it's right. I'm super stoked. It's such a good feeling. Peaches are one of my very favorite fruits, and like we moved to an area of the country where it's known, like they grow the best peaches. You know, Georgia's like the peach state. I mean, come on. South Carolina grows some pretty mean peaches too, but yeah, we every year we go buy cases and cases, bushels of peaches, and I personally will eat myself sick on peaches, and I'm not sad about it. So because they were all kind of wormy, I cut them all up and, found all the worms, cut all the worms out. And we just diced up all the peach that we could save. And Meg made a peach crisp out of all that's kind of reminds me of like a cobbler, but it's got, like an oatmeal crispy crust on top. It was really stinking good. We'd actually bought some peaches on Friday, and our peaches tasted so much better than the bought peaches. It was just like no comparison whatsoever. So really? Yeah. Cool. Ours were so sweet and so flavorful. I mean, the ones from the store are pretty good, but no comparison when you pick them yourself.
And you guys compost your trees quite a bit.
Oh yeah. We I actually need to get out there and do some maintenance in the orchard. There's a few spots I've seen where we're losing the battle to that crabgrass, that Bermuda grass. It once it comes in, if you don't have a good bed of wood chips down, it just grows straight through the wood chips, and you've got a really nice grassy mound around your trees. And so I'm gonna have to get out there and do something. One more thing. So I've started messing with my Huggle mound that I've been experimenting with. I've talked about it a little bit. I've got this Huggle mound down in the dugout, and I just piled up a whole bunch of rotten wood. I just took some scrapings of underneath the compost pile. After the compost is gone, I just scraped it up with the tractor and piled that on top of the dead wood. And if I have extra stuff that I don't have room for in the garden, rather than just throw it out if it's still viable, I'll go stick it in the Huggle mound. So it's got random onions out there. It's got the seed potatoes that didn't make the cut for the garden because they were just terrible looking or too small. I went and I opened up a trench on the backside of the Huggle mound and stuck all these old seed potatoes in there. I mean, you name it, it's in there. It's just a hodgepodge. And wouldn't you know it, that Huggle mound is doing better than half the garden. Like I don't know why. It's just sheer neglect, and it's love and life. Well, I went down there the other night. I think it might have been Friday or Saturday night. I went down there and I noticed that some of the potatoes that had been up were starting to kind of, like look pretty sad, like they're done. And so all I had, I don't know why, there was like one of those reusable grocery bags in the back of the golf cart. And so just in probably a 2 foot by 2 foot space, I dug into this Huggle mound and I filled this grocery bag full of potatoes. I would say the potatoes have done better in this Huggle mound than they have done in the garden, which is kind of crazy. And it was just like,
wow,
I wasn't counting on it. I was burying, the way I view it is I'm giving these seed potatoes or anything we stick in there a second chance. If you want to grow. This is your last chance. And yeah, it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool, like digging in there. It's like, whoa, there's a lot of potatoes in here. I only pulled up like 3 plants, and out of those 3 plants, I filled a grocery bag with potatoes. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked about that. Kind of makes me want to bury a whole bunch of wood and just pile it up and make a huge Huggle mound.
Yeah, forget the garden. Just pile up a bunch of old wood and
Right.
Yep.
Just grow food that way.
Yeah, just grow that. I mean, it's almost self-watering.
How did the plants look?
So depends on where at. I've got some potatoes that the plants look better than the garden. Like the most lush green. Like if you look up a picture of a potato plant in the dictionary, that's what they're supposed to look like. And then over on one side of the Huggle mound, they look so-so, like they don't look real good. I've got onions out there. I've got some shallots out there. Generally, everything else looks good. I've got some beets out there that didn't make the cut. I have some Mangel wurzel beets, and I think the Mangels are going to be pretty big. They look like they're doing pretty good. I'm trying to think of what else I have out there. In the spring when you're, sticking stuff in the ground, there's constantly stuff that we'd pull out and it's like, hey, this was in the fridge and we're not going to eat it. It looks pretty bad. Go feed it to the chickens. And I'd grab it and go stick it in the Huggle mound. So I think I have some horseradish down there. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there.
That's awesome.
How's the whale doing?
Whale's doing good. We have not had a single problem. Knock on wood. I got that pressure tank switched out. We got a new pressure tank, plus the fixins, the switch and all that stuff. We haven't had any problems.
Nice.
One thing I will notice is that pressure tank must have been going bad for a while because there's like a noticeable change in water pressure. And I'm not aware of the pump kicking off and on. Because the way it was before is, every couple seconds, the water pressure would change. And so if you're in the shower, all of a sudden it's blasting hard, and now it's a trickle, and now it's blasting hard again. And it was just, we were kind of numb to it, I guess. We, learned to ignore it because we'd lived with it so long. But now,
thinking that was normal.
Yeah. And now take a shower, and it's like having a pressure washer.
It's like, man, it feels like I'm in an Airbnb.
Yeah. It's like a brand new shower again. So that's pretty much my couple days in a nutshell. How about you guys?
So yeah, I think it was 95 this weekend or something like that. It was in the 90s, I think.
It was pretty hot.
Crazy.
So we had two chicken butchering workshops this weekend.
Oh, that's why it was so hot.
About 7 people each. Yeah, that's why. In the winter, if you have a pig butchering workshop, it's very cold. It's like cold.
It's cold and it's going to rain.
Or rainy. Yeah, there you go. And in the summer, when you have chicken butchering workshop, it's scorching hot. So, yeah, it was hot. And we had about 7 people each. And but man, those workshops are always, people are always so cool, so fun. Like, they're just excited to be there, even if it was hot, man. Like, we're all sweating, but but everyone was just having a good time. It seemed like, and I took them on I take people on a walk around the property to show them around and stuff. And I was like, you sure you guys want to walk around right now? It's like, it's like 11 o'clock or something. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So it was pretty cool. People are super nice. We had a couple from New York came, right? I think they're a young couple because the lady, she says she just graduated college, but they're originally from Fiji.
Oh, wow.
And so I think it sounded like they're only living in New York maybe like the last, I don't know, 4 years or something. Because she went to college just to go to New York to go to college, I guess. But anyways, they live in the city. So, and I'm like, okay, do you guys have chickens in the city? That was my questions to them because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why are they here? Why are they doing the workshop? And she's like, they're like, oh no, we live in the city. Like there's none of that going on. We live around, we're surrounded by concrete. And I was like, okay, so why did you want to do this class? So apparently they took a city bus, or I guess a bus from New York to Washington, D.C. And then from Washington, I guess they knew somebody that lived there that drove them to the workshop.
Oh, wow.
Because they didn't even have a car. So yeah, they were just saying that, they watch all the YouTube homesteaders and, they want to, they're into eating good quality food.
Yep.
Or trying to find out, how to eat it and all that stuff. And I guess they grew up in Fiji, so they're kind of used to raising chickens and butchering them. They already done that before, but maybe when they were young, like kids. So they're in New York, so they're like, we don't do that now, but we just thought it'd be cool to come out and just butcher some chickens. I was like, okay,
that's cool. That's dedicated.
That was neat. I thought that was kind of fun, and they were super fun to talk to and stuff, just to hear their story and everyone's story. There was a guy there from Ohio that came out, just kind of, just hearing everyone's stories is super inspiring of why they're there. So because there was only 7 people each, we had 60 chickens that we had to butcher, about 60. So it was hot. I didn't want to make everyone do, it had to been like 30 chickens a piece for each day. So we only did maybe 3 chickens. Everyone maybe did 3 chickens, so it wasn't 30. So on Sunday we butchered the rest, which were about 15 of just me and Lorraine and our daughter butchered the rest on Sunday. Of course, Sunday was like the cooler day, but we got it done. So it was like 3 days of butchering chickens.
Yeah,
it's a long weekend.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and we still got the chickens are still sitting in our fridge, our cooler trailer. So tomorrow we're gonna piece them out and stick them in the freezer and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a full day tomorrow, probably doing that.
So 3 days of cleanup. That's the worst.
Yeah, well, we clean up, but like the easy ups and stuff.
Right.
We don't take it down every day, but
yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's the worst part. But
yeah,
it was all right.
Worst.
It was all right. Yeah, people make it fun. So I didn't make anyone clean up. So yeah, it was cool. It went by pretty smooth though. So yeah, geez, that was the main thing that we tried to do all week. I tried not to do anything all week actually, because I knew we were going to be having those people over. But my goal was with the chickens that we have, like we're doing another 60 in July, and then another 60 in September.
Oh wow!
So my goal is to try to sell some of that meat.
Yep. And
also do the workshops. So
does each person take home 1 chicken basically? That goes to class. That's cool.
Yep. Each person takes home a chicken. Even those people from New York took a chicken home
on the bus.
Well, I think the place that they were staying at had a kitchen, so they were gonna cook the chicken that night.
Yep.
That's a That's a good souvenir right there.
Yeah, hopefully it was good. Hopefully it was good for him.
I'm sorry, that's not a souvenir. You have to word that differently. That was homework.
Yeah, there you
Right.
go.
I don't know if the people go home and cook. Like if they're like just cooking like a regular chicken, or they have like a prized meal. Like, hey, I just went through all this work. I got this pasture raised organic chicken. I'm gonna do something extravagant, not extravagant, but something a little bit more. Kind of.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I remember the first chicken we butchered like that, man. It was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, first of all, we didn't know how to cook a whole chicken either, so that we had to figure out. But
Then you got to make your bone broth. You got to make a soup.
right,
all of it.
yeah, yeah.
My first experience with a whole chicken involved a rotisserie. I learned real quick. A rotisserie can be your friend if you're cooking whole chickens.
Mm.
Yep.
So I think that's probably about it. Yeah, it was just really hot. That's all I remember.
That's all you remember. It's just beginning for you guys. You get like 3 months of it: June, July, August, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just starting.
Yeah.
We just need it to rain. As long as it rains a couple times, it's okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. As long as it rains, it can be hot because it sure makes the tomatoes grow good and the peppers.
Right. When can you pick your tomatoes? Like how early do you get to pick your tomatoes?
We've already been eating tomatoes. All of the we have found we really like sun gold tomatoes. They're like a small cherry tomato, real sweet. Those are ripe now. The Tommy toes are starting to come on, and then what else? We have like Abe Lincolns. Those look like they're going to be ready here pretty quick. But yeah, we're already eating them. So it is now officially tomato season.
Are you just eating the cherry tomatoes right now, or do you have like full size tomatoes that are ready?
No, none of the full size are ready yet. It's just the cherry tomatoes right now.
Yeah, those are in your greenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours are not quite ready yet. We haven't been eating any tomatoes yet, but I would say maybe in the next week or two, for sure.
If it stays hot like this, they go so fast. Like that is the nice saving grace about hot weather. If it's up in the 90s, those tomatoes are going to be ripe fast.
Yep.
We have some hot peppers though that are ready to go right now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Some of those peach peppers. Yeah.
My
you have to do some
hot peppers are taking their sweet time.
Yeah, I have more hot peppers that are not nearly. They don't have nothing on them right now. They're still small. So what'd you get into this week, Al?
So we tried to get the pigs on pasture one day, but we had a bunch of stuff we had to do first. So we had to move the cows, and then Miles, which is by himself right now, we moved him over to where the goats used to be because the goats don't touch the grass in their paddock. So the grass was nice pasture grass. It was probably like 3.5 feet tall. So we wanted to get Miles over there, and we did. And he ate it down. It doesn't look like it was mowed, but it's pretty close. Like he ate like everything down almost to the ground. So like that's pretty slick. It took him probably about a week, not a week, quite a week, about 5 days. So now we'll have to extend his pasture, but then there's a pasture that we wanted to get the meat birds on, so I had to mow that. And as I'm mowing that, I don't know what I did, but I got a flat tire in the big tractor.
Fun.
Yeah.
The big tractor.
The big tractor. It wasn't the rear tire. It was a front tire. It fell off the rim. So I'm like, I had to take it to the tire shop. It took 3 days to get it back from the tire shop. I was like, oh, I got to get some like big tractor plug. I dropped it off in the afternoon. They're like, oh, we'll try to get to it. They didn't. I called them back the next day, and everybody called out of work, so they had no employees.
Oh, gosh.
And then, the third day they finished it, but it wasn't until later in the afternoon. And nobody else around stocks tubes because I called all the parts stores. I'm like, hey, do you have tubes for tractors? They're like, nope, you got to go to the tire shop. And they all told me the same place. Like, yeah, but I just want to do it myself. I don't want to have to wait for somebody else.
Did they just like fix a flat, or they redid like the tube?
They put a tube in it. It didn't have a tube in it before. They wouldn't just patch it. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
But I have like patches for car tires, but it went right. Whatever it was went through like the thick nub area. So I'm like, my car tire patch is not going to hold up to that. So you can patch them from the inside, but I don't have a patch kit. So that's on the list to order now, is I'll have to get a patch kit. It's weird when you're normally somebody who like fixes everything, and then it's like, oh wait, I can't fix that.
That's a terrible feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I'm like, it's 3 days to fix it. I'm like, this is why I try to do everything myself. Like, I don't want to have to wait.
Yep.
I'm impatient. So I learned
Grass
to do
is
it
still
myself.
growing. Yeah.
Right? Luckily, I was able to mow the pasture that I wanted to get mowed because we had to get the meat birds out in a few days. So I'm like, okay. I wasn't able to get the cows out in that one area. So I'm like, we got to mow it and get it short enough for the meat birds, because the grass this year has grown awesome. So the last 2 years, it's been so wet. It's been growing, but we've been having a lot of like washouts because the pastures aren't like super established. Well, this summer, I guess it's really not summer yet, but this spring, it was wet and then it's dried up. So everything's just been going crazy and everything's reseeding, which has been nice. So it's getting ahead of us, but it's been so dry right now. I don't want to mow too much of it. Like we have a lot of like 3.5 foot tall grass, and the cows might not love it. But I'm like, if I mow it right now with no rain in the forecast, it's not going to grow. It's just going to burn. So
That's not the area where you used your sprayer, was it?
No. The areas we used that we did the hydro seeding, that's coming in pretty good. Considering how dry it is, it's still growing. You know, it's like an inch, 2 inches tall, and it's green. It hasn't dried out or anything. So it's nice to see that it's actually grown. I think if we just would have done seed, it would have probably grew, and then it just would have died with all the heat and the dryness.
That's cool.
I'm embracing the dryness just because we haven't had it. I'll probably regret saying that, but right now I'm like, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
The last 2 years have been terrible. So we finally got the pigs on pasture. We had to wait a couple of days so we could get the tire back. Then we got them out. Those pigs love eating grass. They're just grazers.
They haven't rooted up yet?
They haven't rooted it up. They've been out there. Now it's been a week, and they got it like mowed. So we put an area behind the barn. Some of it's gravel, and then some of it was grass. Not the best grass, because it was grass that we tried growing last year. So I'd say it's patchy. It was clover and I think timothy, but they're just eating it down. So then we went and we cut a bunch of our tall grass down, and we'd hand feed them. And we have, like I said, it's like 3 foot tall timothy and all different perennials and stuff, and they'll eat all of it, even if it's just like a thick, like woody stalk. They just mow it. So it's very encouraging to see how good they eat grass.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm assuming the coonies are like that.
Yeah. They'll like that too. I saw the pictures or the video on your pigs. They have the same color as the coonies.
Yep.
They almost look like them.
Right. The breeder we're keeping as a breeder, she definitely looks a lot like a coonie. She has I think it's like I'd call it like, she must have like 3 or 4 colors in her.
Yeah.
And the other ones are like the orange and black.
Right.
Yep.
That's cool.
We got to figure out, I guess, how much grain we want to give and how much grass, and they're so small. I don't want to overfeed them at the same time either.
Yeah, it's hard to do that when they're small and cute.
Yep.
And
I want them to grow, but I don't want them to get fat. You know what I mean? It's like trying to find the right ratio.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure it out too. My bigger ones don't look fat at all to me. They look all right.
Yep.
So I'm thinking that might be good, but I guess we won't really know till we open one up.
Right. We've been giving ours grain, raw milk, some eggs, a little bit of food scraps. Not a lot of food scraps yet, and then they get the grass. So it's kind of like trying to make sure we don't go too gung ho. At the same time, like they're young, so they could probably use a good amount of protein.
Yeah, my little baby ones that are 3 months old, they're starting to look fat.
This time, like get a belly on them, or
yeah. Because they're in with mama still, so I'm feeding the mom, but the other one's just going nuts for the feed, so they're just they're just eating whatever. And plus, I think they're nursing still a little bit.
Yep.
So they're just getting fat, but eventually they'll even out.
Yeah,
they'll lose their fat.
I know the lady we got ours from. She said, she's like, you can free choice feed them grain. So I don't know if you can really overfeed them, but
she said you can.
Yep. She said if you free choice grain them, they'll grow to market weight in 8 months. if you like feed them it like a ration in pasture, they'll take 10 months. So that's what we want to aim for. I'd rather have them eat more pasture than grain.
Yeah.
There's a guy that we talked to that used to be a registered breeder of guinea hogs, and he said he can get guinea hogs up to 200 pounds in a year, which we have not been able to do. And the way he did it was with alfalfa and grain, and it was just like kind of mind blowing, because I have not been able to get these guinea hogs to grow that big. They don't reach 200 pounds until they're 2 years, and he's doing it in a year. So there's definitely ways, if you talk to a breeder that's like, yeah, do this, take it to the bank, write it down.
So we just ordered, speaking of alfalfa, I wanted to get some chaff hay, and we used to be able to get it up here. And I started to drive to one of the feed stores that has it. They're like, oh, we don't. I called them in the morning, like, no, we don't have chaff hay. We have this other brand. I'm like, okay. So then I started driving there. I'm like, oh, I should make sure it's non-GMO. So I called, and she was like, no, it's not. And then I'm like, well, what's the brand of it? So I started looking it up. It wasn't chaff hay. It was just dried alfalfa. I'm like, that's not what I want. So I went, when I got home, I checked it out. You guys like New Country organic stuff, right? So they make a chaff hay. That's what you get. They make a chaff hay. Mm-hmm. And if you want to try some, right now I have it on Chewy. I don't know why. You can get it on Chewy. It's supposedly normally $50. They have it on, I don't know if it's on sale or if it's only going to be like temporary, if it's like $23 for a 50-pound bag with free delivery.
That's a good deal.
I ordered 3 bags just to try. I figure I'm going to try giving it to the cow, see if it helps her make more cream. And then I want to give it to the pigs and just see how they like it, and if it helps or not.
Yeah, I haven't tried that at all.
Yeah. We used to give it to the goats, and the goats liked it, and they did good with it. We have farmers around here that make alfalfa and Timothy haylage in like the big marshmallow things. But if you only have a couple of cows, it spoils too fast before they can eat it all. So it's kind of trying to find something else you can do with a couple of cows. But we'll try it, see how we like it. It's just, I don't know, it's a pain when you want to try something you can't find it locally. And then when you go to order it, it's like more money for shipping than it would be for the product.
The struggle is real.
Yeah. Yes.
I know.
I texted Ben this weekend. I was like, hey, where'd you get your scythe from? Because I'm like, these pigs are loving this grass. We'll get them in the woods at some point. But for now, I'm like, it'd be nice to have a scythe. So I got a scythe ordered.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I have an American scythe, and I can't use it. Like, I've never been able to make it work. So I'm like, I got to try the European scythe. Yeah.
I would say the steepest learning curve with the European scythe is figuring out how to keep it sharp and when to peen it.
Okay.
There's actually a guy I found. He's like a Norwegian dude that I think he sells scythes too, but he's got some really, really helpful videos on like how to maintain the edge and when to peen it and all that stuff. I'll send you a link to some of his videos, but yeah, that's the steepest learning curve, is learning how to hold the stone and when to wet and all that stuff. So, but if you ordered it pre-sharpened, it's like a laser cutting through the grass when it's sharp.
I don't think there was an option for sharpened or pre-sharpened when I got mine. They didn't have many blades. I had to get it's more of like the brush or the ditch one. So it's for not just like hay fields, which that's probably what I need anyways, because we don't have perfect. It was like for weeds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and grass.
The ditch blade, I want to get one because we're kind of in the same boat. Like, we've got a couple places that are really nice grass, but generally there's going to be some more woodier stuff here and there. And some of it can be a little bit hard on a grass blade. So I've got a brush blade and a grass blade, but I don't have a ditch blade, which is kind of the happy medium. So you're probably going to be just fine.
And the blade, they must sell a lot, because there's a ton. I'd say 2/3 of the blades were sold out. So I don't know if like at the beginning of the season, if you want a new blade, or if in the wintertime, that's when you need to order the right blade or not. But was like, I'll try this, and I can always just get another blade later on.
That's interesting because Corbin ordered his scythe blade 2 months ago, and just about everything was in stock. There was only one item that was out of stock. Like
Really?
they had all the blades and everything. Now I will say it took 3 weeks to get that scythe. So I assume waiting till grass season to order a grass cutting device, that's kind of last minute. So
yeah, I think it was 4 to 5 weeks they said to get it, and I would say at least 2/3. I'd say around probably 2/3 of the blades were sold out.
wow. Well, it's grass season.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's kind of one of those things. I'm like, but if I don't do it now, I'll forget next year, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I'll ask Santa to give me one.
make sure you put it on your wish list so you don't forget.
Yeah. The Christmas list.
Right. Yep. Let me get back to my list now. I always got to write it down. So we got our turkeys finally. That's why we had to get the meat birds out, which one of the things I thought was weird. Our meat birds, our first batch are a week younger than our second batch. And when we put the first batch out on pasture, they were a lot bigger in the same amount of time as it was when we put the second meat birds, the second batch out. They were I wouldn't say half the size, but they were probably a third smaller than what the first batch was when they went out, which I just thought was, they're healthy and everything. They were just smaller. I just thought that was
weird.
That is weird.
We get males. We don't get,
Well, you just get males?
yeah. I spend I think it's like 20 cents, 30 cents more to get just males. We just get just the males. So that way they all grow nice and big and plump.
Yeah, I would think they'd probably grow all more same.
Yeah, they grow a lot. They grow a lot evener. So that's why we just, instead of having the tiny ones when you butcher them, we just say, let's just do males.
How many turkeys did you get?
We got 10. That's the minimum order. So
Which ones?
the midgets, the white midgets.
The whites?
Yeah. Hopefully they all make it. I'm assuming they're not all gonna make it. So if we can get 6, I'll be happy.
We just put ours. That's what we did this week. We put ours on grass. So far we only lost 3. So.
And what did you get? 15? How many did you get?
We got 20.
You got 20. Okay. And you got the what breed you get?
Just a white, not the small ones, but the white broad-breasted turkeys.
Yeah. How old are they when you put them on pasture?
I think they're only 3 weeks old now.
Okay.
I mean, it's been so hot.
Right.
That I was turning off the heat lamp on them in the brooder, and I was like, why are they even in here? Like, it's just so hot out. So, and they're growing pretty good. Like, yeah, they look really healthy, and they're active. They look alert. They look good. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna put them on grass. Yeah. And they seem like they're doing fine.
Right. If it's dry out, it's not like it's rainy.
Yeah.
Cold, so it's it's better and healthier for them to be outside.
It's practically a heat lamp outside.
Yep. Yeah, we got ours. We got our egg layer chicks, I think 2 weeks before we got the turkeys. So the egg layer chicks are still in with them. I'm like, I'll kind of hopefully teach them how to eat and drink. Maybe we won't lose as many.
Yeah. My turkeys have been eating a lot. I don't think I've seen turkeys that eat like that.
No, I remember when we did it in the past. They eat a ton they go through so much feed. It's not even funny.
I remember that about raising turkeys.
I started giving them a NutriBalancer, a poultry NutriBalancer from Fertrell.
No.
Have you heard it? It comes like in a little bag. It's just like vitamins and minerals.
Yep.
That you could just add to like chicken feed and stuff. I figured I'd try it for the turkeys since I've had such bad luck with them. So maybe this is just added minerals for them, and I've been giving it to my chickens too. Maybe that's why I haven't lost any. I don't know.
Won't hurt. Worst case scenario, we'll waste a few bucks, kind of thing.
I'll have to try some of that.
What can hurt,
Right.
Yeah, I've read that some of these other farmers that grow, broilers for market, they'll use some of that mineral stuff for their feed. They'll mix it in, like they'll buy huge amounts of it and mix it in with their feed.
Yeah. So
I figure, man, why not try it?
Yeah, if it's minerals and vitamins, it's just going to make the meat better for you in the long run, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah, they seem to be doing great. So, and for some reason, we just put some Cornish cross chickens too on grass this week, and And those Cornish cross chickens are feisty. Like, even since I don't know if it's because it's warm out. I want to say because it's warm, but like they're like monsters. Like they're excited and they're just like going crazy, like hyper.
Man, that's how my layers are. Vicious.
Vicious.
They are.
These 2 batches of meat birds for us, I've noticed they're learning to walk forward with a chicken tractor in like 2 days, where like it used to take like 2 weeks. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but these, I don't like, maybe because we're warmer too, but they're actually walking forward and learning fast. Where usually you're spending a week or 2 and you're pulling your hair out like, oh, I don't want to have to move this chicken tractor forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna run over a chicken.
Right, but no.
Yeah, that's fine. Who knows? I mean, could be the warmer weather. Could be just certain batches are different.
So that's been our week in a nutshell. Trying to get everybody out on pasture.
Cool.
Getting ready for the heat wave. I'll be like you guys next week, complaining about how hot it is. I'll be melting.
Yeah.
Man,
usually when it's a heat wave like this and it hasn't rained,
it's miserable.
I start thinking about saving more water. So I might do that as a next project.
Man, I've sweat so much in the past week. I need rain gutters.
Yeah.
Yep. So you must be counting down for your road trip to Iowa. You got that all planned out? Because that's good. Is that coming up like what, 4 weeks ish?
Like in a couple of weeks.
A couple weeks. Okay.
Not this week. Next week.
Wow.
I think maybe another week and a half. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we're getting close there. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to talk. I was like, I was telling Lorraine, I was like, man, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna be talking about on my class that I'm doing. I'll probably do that like
while you're driving.
I was like, that's why I told her. She's like, you better not. At least before we leave, I'm gonna sit myself down and lock myself in the room and really do it. It's just a matter of, I mean, honestly, like some of the stuff that we do all this stuff every day. Like you guys, like, if someone asks you, how do you build a chicken coop? Pretty sure all of us can just come up with something in our head, right?
Yep.
Like this is what we do for a living. It's just for me, if you kind of want it structured, if you're going to be teaching a class on it. So that's my thing. It's like to structure it instead of it just being just me just talking. Like,
do you have a topic idea, or they give you a topic?
Yeah, I'm talking about chicken tractors, like how to build.
Okay.
Chicken tractors and chicken coops.
Yep. Gotcha.
So just coming up with a structure and.
You gonna do like a PowerPoint presentation and stuff like that, or?
Yep. Let's make PowerPoint.
Yeah, nice.
That'd be cool.
Should be good. I don't know how many people that they're planning, but it should be good.
Yeah, because they must be pre-selling the tickets. You probably have to buy tickets in advance, so they should probably know, I would think.
Yeah, they probably know. I'm not sure what it is, but
you might not want to know.
Yeah, that's true. I know. Don't tell me I'm on the main stage.
Right.
I don't want to know. Just put me off to the side somewhere.
Right. How many talks are you doing? Are you doing it 1 day, 2 days, or?
Just a 1 day.
Okay, that's nice. So you can have time there to check out the event yourself.
Yeah, I'll probably film for the channel.
Yep.
Just to do it since we're there and just hang out. We're not vending or nothing. At first I was gonna like, oh, we gotta vend, I gotta bring all my t-shirts and hats and all this stuff, and then man, that's it's a lot.
It is
a lot.
Yep.
And to haul that over there, and I was like, you know what, let's just go. I'll just talk and film, and we could just walk around and hang out and talk to people.
Yeah, because if you got your booth there, you can't be present and talking with people. You got to be kind of on selling and dealing with that stuff.
Yeah, giving out change and
right.
Yeah, it's a lot. So So we're just going to hang out. So
That's cool.
It should be fun.
Now they're feeding, like they're doing a lot of like feeding and everything at the event, aren't they? McMurray Hatchery, is there like a special ticket you can get for meals or something?
I don't know. I haven't looked. To see if that's what they're doing. I was thinking maybe they were having some food trucks or something, but I'm not sure.
I thought for some reason there was like I don't know, they're doing a hatchery tour, and then I don't know if there was maybe dinners or something.
They are doing that, a hatchery tour, but I don't know about food.
Yep.
I don't know what they're doing for food. I'm not sure if there's any kind of food in Iowa.
Right, corn, soybeans,
small town America over there.
Right. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, we've been planning it. Yeah, Lorraine's planning all the food that we're bringing in and all that.
Yep. You bring in your trailer so you can keep everything nice and cold and have enough room for all your food, or?
No, we're just bringing coolers, but hopefully it's enough.
Right.
Should be fun. So yeah, guys, a year doing this podcast, and let's see where the next year takes us. And one of these days, I'm telling you, we're going to do this live.
We'll have to.
I'm talking about live as in front of people.
In front of people. Oh.
A live audience.
Live audience.
A live audience.
There you go.
I don't know when that's going to happen, but I have a feeling.
It'd be fun. Have like a Q&A.
Something. I don't know.
Right.
That's what I'm picturing, man. That's what I'm picturing. Why not?
Might as well, right?
Yeah. We're used to this now, aren't we? Kinda. Kinda.
Maybe.
We need another year under our belt, maybe.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah, I appreciate everyone listening and watching these podcasts, and thank you so much. Thank you for listening to us on iTunes if you are. I know some of you guys listen at work or when you're driving, and a lot of you guys just watch us on the tube. And thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Hope everyone has a good week. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Later, everybody.